Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining me. We're just gonna wait just a couple more minutes, let a few more people join in. All right, good afternoon, everyone, again. Today I wanted to come to you today to provide some updates on Hurricane Ida, actions that the parish has taken, and actions that each of you should take to prepare. Most importantly, I want to stress to each of you the seriousness of this storm. We absolutely cannot take this storm lightly. If you are not prepared, you should make every effort to do so before the end of the day today. When we did our Facebook Live yesterday, the cone of uncertainty stretched from the Texas line to Mobile, Alabama. Since that time, and within the last 24 hours, this cone has now become very certain. St. James Parish is expected to be right on the edge of the eye wall of this storm, which means we will have some of the worst high wind impacts and high possibility of tornadoes. Meteorologists and National Hurricane Center have extreme confidence in the forecast for Hurricane Ida and its impacts for our area. I'd like to emphasize some of those for you. We can expect to see winds arriving to our area between 7 and 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. Winds in excess of 100 miles per hour are expected during the height of the storm in St. James Parish. Overall, we can expect sustained winds between 75 to 100 miles per hour for around 4 hours between the hours of 8 p.m. and midnight on Sunday night. As the storm moves further inland, the timing of the highest winds may change slightly. This is why it is extremely important that you ensure you have secured all loose items around your home and you have a plan in place for sheltering. By this evening, you should have a solid plan of where you will go to ride out the storm. Conditions will worsen throughout the night, and by 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, you will need to stay in shelter where you are. Be sure that if you are seeking a shelter elsewhere, you are safely there well before 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. I want to emphasize again that if you live in a mobile home or an older home, and one especially not on a slab, I strongly encourage you to seek shelter someplace else. Beginning at 5 a.m. tomorrow, Parish Transit Services will begin picking up residents who are unable to get to our parish shelter on their own. The shelter will officially open at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning in the Lutcher High School gymnasium. Again, residents should be prepared with a 3-day supply of food, water, and medications. Cots will be provided, but bedding and hygiene supplies will not. This shelter is wind rated to provide safe shelter during a major hurricane and is the safest place for our residents whose homes are not on a slab or are not stable. Ida will not only bring extremely high winds to our parish, but will bring significant and life-threatening rainfall to our area. We can expect anywhere between 10 to 15 inches of rainfall with possibilities for even higher amounts. Please know our public works crews have been preparing pumps and are making every effort to mitigate potential flooding. However, with this level of significant rainfall, we most certainly will see flooding in many of our low-lying areas. Sandbag locations remain open as of right now and are being replenished as needed for residents who need to sandbag their homes. Storm surge will also be very significant with this storm. Current forecasts predict 3 to 5 feet of surge in Lake Maurepas, which will cause flooding in many of our areas along the Blind River and surrounding tributaries. Public Works installed additional pump capacity at the South Vashry Weir in order to prevent impacts from storm surge from Lake des Allemands. Water levels throughout the parish as of right now are low, which is a good thing. However, we do expect water levels to rise quickly as the storm approaches. Once conditions deteriorate tomorrow morning and become unsafe for our crews, we will begin storm ride-out operations and be prepared to respond immediately as conditions allow on Monday for clearing roadways, debris, and identifying downed power lines. We have equipment and crews staged, ready to respond as quickly as possible. I know many of our neighboring parishes have issued mandatory or voluntary evacuations. I have not issued any mandatory evacuations, and by this point, we are simply out of time to conduct mass evacuations. I am aware many of our residents have voluntarily evacuated, and I encourage everyone to evaluate your own situations and anyone who is able and who feels it necessary to evacuate as well. I urge you again to make a plan now if you do not have one. And at this time, I have Sheriff Willie Martin here with us, and I'd like to ask him to say a few words as well as discuss curfews, public transportation issues, and whatever else he may want to share. Sheriff?
Thank you, President. So we heard some key points pointed out by our parish president, what to expect. We've been through a lot of storms together, and we always like to refer to storms of the past that we handled fairly well. We survived. We did this. We did that. We can't do that with this storm. This is a different storm. The last storm that actually directly affected us was Gustav, and it did impact quite a bit of damage to St. James Parish, quite a bit of time without power. This storm's coming straight at us. This storm is stronger. We can't anticipate anything less than what the worst one we've been through. And so, with that being said, you need to be prepared. You run out of time to move out of the way. So you need to be prepared. So you know you're going to have down power lines. You know you're going to have down trees. We know we're going to have damage to structures. We're going to be limited on what services we could provide for you. We are going to be out there with double shifting as of tomorrow morning. We're going to have twice the manpower on the street to answer all your calls. We're going to try to come to every single call. But you have to be honest and realize there will be a point that we will not be able to come. For the safety of the officers out there to help you, there will be a time I need them to take shelter so that we will have the manpower we need when this thing is finished. I'm already reaching out to other sheriffs, other neighboring agencies, state police, DOTD. There will be some issues with travel. We know that. There will be issues with power. We don't know how long. We're not going to know until this thing blows through. We're going to work hand in hand with the parish president and his crew. We have a team ready to help them with clearing debris, opening roads as quickly as we can. We have a chainsaw team. We will work with the shelters. We will do everything we can, provide you the resources that you expect from us. But honestly, we need you to be very mindful when you call for service. Make sure that you have a valid reason to be calling us for service. Don't endanger any of our first responders. We're going to probably put together a curfew. I don't want to specifically give you a time or how we're going to manage that curfew right now. Let's wait and see how we make out as this storm blows through. We're going to get all the help we can, all the people on deck that you need and you expect to be there to get us through this. And all I can ask you is once you start trying to power up your homes with your small generators, let's be smart about that. Let's practice all the safety guidelines that folks are employing out there. The fire marshal, I think, has good resources if you want to go and read some of the guidelines they have. I know. We've been through it. I know what to do. I know what's on your mind. We all could think that. Don't do it on this one. Be prepared for the worst, and let's hope for the best. There will be a lot of services that won't be available to us after the storm blows through. We're going to try to keep all that information available to you. We're going to try to get these streets open as fast as possible. We're going to let you get to your property if you left town. We're not going to stop you at some roadblock. We want you back on your own property and help us keep eyes on the neighborhoods. But you have to be mindful, be safe. Don't grab wires and try to move them on your own. Don't try to move telephone poles. Let us get the help in that need to come in and do that. And let's pray for each other and work together. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Sheriff. And in closing, I'd just like to add, it's very unfortunate that this storm flared up so quickly and it didn't give everyone the time to prepare that we normally do. That's why it's always important to always have your plan in place. It's always important to be prepared. So please, heed the warnings. Take this storm very seriously. Keep your family and neighbors safe. Check on your elderly neighbors. The time to prepare is running out, and now is the time to finalize your plans. Our Citizen Service Center will be open until 4 p.m. today and beginning at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Our Emergency Operations and Citizen Service Center will be staffed 24 hours a day beginning tomorrow morning. Everyone, please stay safe. God bless you, and God bless St. James Parish.